Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be taking a look at the brand new Playmates Godzilla x Kong The New Empire Playmates toys by Playmates. These are the 6-inch figures, and I was able to get the entire set, and today we're going to be taking a look at them, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and let's get to the video. So the first one that we're going to be taking a look at is the pre-evolved Godzilla. Yeah. This guy is kind of weird, but kind of cool at the same time. And yeah, he's a good figure. So taking a look at Godzilla here, it's a pretty good representation of legendary Goji before he evolved. Yeah, the painting, the painting here is, very minimalistic, because there's not much of it. He's just gonna be jet black, and then he has, some blue eyes, which I don't really like. I might paint over it with just pure blue eyes. His mouth can open with a very weird pink tone to it. Then his hands, his nails are painted a brown of some sorts. And then his dorsal spines are a nice blue color. Same with his tail, and his feet also have these, have the brown color. So going over Godzilla's articulation, he has a barely there head swivel, and then he also has a hinge at the jaw, and then he has a full 360 on his arm on both sides, and then his leg can kick out that far and go back that far. Same with the other leg. Go back like that. And then he has a ball joint at the tail, which is actually pretty good. Let's go over our accessories. The accessories that this guy comes with is already attached to the body. All you have to do is pull on this little tab here, and it reveals the battle damage. Now, personally, I really love this for the Godzilla figures. I feel like it's a nice contrast to what we usually get for Godzilla figures, which is usually nothing, but, it's fine, I guess. The detail in there is pretty nice. So, yeah, and his other accessory is an atomic breath part. Thank God for Playmates, unlike some people. All you have to do is shove it in there, and there you go. Now Godzilla is shooting his atomic breath. So my rating for this Godzilla, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It gets the job done for a pre-evolved Godzilla, and it looks pretty good. Now let's look at Kong. Now taking a look at Kong, he looks pretty good for a Kong figure. Again, this was only $9, so surprisingly he does have a lot of good detail. Yeah, going over his articulation, he has a 360 at his head, a full swivel, and then his arms can go out that far, and then a full 360, at his arm. Then he has a 360 at his elbow. It will get caught up in these metal gears. And then no articulation in his hand. But then going to this one, easier 360 movement on this arm, and then he gets a rotation at his hand. And then no wrist articulation, or no torso articulation, even though it looks like it. Then you get a full 360 at his leg, can go out that far and go back that far, and then Kong's leg can bend in like that and then bend like that. Overall, this figure's articulation is pretty good. The detail is also pretty good, and the only accessory that he comes with is the upgraded heave. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Next. Up next, we're going to be looking at probably the weakest figure of this entire wave, and that is being of Sugo. Sugo is one of the new characters of the movie, and he's just I don't know, his paint is weird. He doesn't really look like Sugo, but then again, it's a $9 figure for kids. What are you gonna do? Yeah, his detail is pretty good, and I mean, it's okay, but yeah, it gets the job done. He has a full 360 at his head. His arm can go out that far. Then you get a full 360 at his arm. And then a full rotation at his elbow. And then a full rotation at his hand. Same with the other arm. And then you get a 360 rotation at his waist. And then you get a full 360 at his leg here. You can go out that far and back that far. And then a bend at the leg. And then you get a rotation at his leg, or his foot. Yeah, and then he only comes with one accessory, that is being the rock. But I say only one accessory because Playmates just couldn't give us only this for one figure for $9. They had to give us. They gave us Doug. Doug is one of the best kaiju of the entire movie. They had to put so much detail in this guy, and who cares if he barely has any paint? He's one of the best kaiju, and he actually got a figure finally. Since Funko won't make a Funko Pop for him, since SH Monster Arts won't do a figure for him, since the Bandai Movie Monsters won't do a figure of him, nobody will do it. Why? But Playmates came in clutch, and they gave us one of the best kaiju. And he actually has articulation, because of course he does. He has a full 360 at his head. He has a full 360 on both of his arm legs. Then he has a full 360 at his legs again. And then he has a ball joint at the tail. Can go up that far, go down that far, and then side to side. Yeah. Next up, we've got Evolved Godzilla. Literally one of the best Godzilla designs ever. And if you guys disagree, you guys can unsubscribe and leave. I'm just kidding. Speaking of subscribing, you guys should subscribe. I'm releasing Help 1 and 2 content almost every day. So, yeah. The detail looks amazing on this guy. I love the translucent spikes. And, it's kind of weird on the tail, but who cares? And then, no painted thorn elbows. That's fine. No, it's not. And then you got the thagamizers on the end of the tail. So, yeah. Articulation. Got a barely there swivel at the head. Articulation at the jaw, which has better detail than the pre-evolved Godzilla. And then he has a full rotation at his hand or arm, both sides. His leg can kick out about that far and go back that far. And he has a full rotation at his leg. And I forgot to mention that on Guchanka over here, the original one, he has a full rotation here. My dumbass. Anyways, and then he has a ball joint at the tail. You can go up that far, go down, and left to right, yada yada yada. You get the idea. And then he comes with an atomic breath part, which you just have to, all you have to do is shove it in there. It's easier said than done. Just shove it in there, and there you go. Completes the look. Now let's go on to the villains. Looking at Scar King over here, this guy is a bald-headed freak who reminds me of Kratos in a weird way. But nobody loves this guy. I'm kidding. This guy is a pretty good villain. The detail is amazing. I do think that the 2-pack of him and Kong from that diorama set, I think it's better painted, but this is a really good figure nonetheless. It has a lot of articulation, as you can see, and he has his whip. So going over the articulation, you can have a full 360 at the head, and then his arm can go out that far, and then a full 360. You get a full rotation at his arm. It bends about that far, it looks painful, and then bends in, and then you get a full rotation at his hand, same with the other side. Then you actually get a ball-jointed torso. It's a little creaky, but who cares? And then you get a full rotation at his leg. Can kick out that far and not go back as far. And then you get a bend at the leg. So yeah, and then his accessory is already on him. All you have to do is unplug it and then put it in his hand, and then it completes the look. Though honestly, I feel like they could have at least added the blue spine or the blue crystal on the back or something to complete his look, especially because the next figure that we're looking at is obviously the best. Also, it's very easy to plug this guy's thing in, whip back in. So yeah, let's get this bald-headed freak out of here and look at the real good figure. Next up, we're looking at the real Queen of the Monsters. I'm kidding, that belongs to Mothra, but I feel like this would be a good alternate queen, like a princess of monsters, maybe. Anyways, we're looking at Shimu, and she is the biggest out of the entire set. Detail, amazing. I love the translucent spikes on her back, and it doesn't carry on to the tail, of course, but the tail, the Thagomisers look really good. Yes, the figure is pure white, but who cares? Really good detail. And going over articulation, get a bend at her head right there, and then it can look up that far, and then there's a full rotation at the head or neck, and then there's a hinge at the jaw. It can open up that far. Jesus Christ. And then you get a full rotation at her arm. It can go out that far, and then, you know, full 360, and then it can go in that far, and then she gets a swivel at the grippers. Same over here, not really. Can kick back that far and kick up that far, which is not far at all. And then once again, swivel at the legs or at the feet. Can do a full 360, and then you get a ball joint at the tail. And her accessory is literally the exact same as Guchanka, and it is the Frost Breath. So, yeah. So for size comparison, I'm only going to use the Evolved Godzilla because they're all basically the same size. There's really no point in showing all of the figures and their height. So yeah, that's just a quick warning. Here he is next to the Movie Monster series, Bandai Vinyl Godzilla Final Wars figure. By the way, this is my first vinyl figure, so yeah. Here he is next to my next review, most likely, depending on if I get this out on time. The SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1972 Godzilla vs. Gigan figure. By the way, this is one of my favorite Godzilla figures that I own right now. So, yeah. Also, I got it from the Tamashii Nation store in New York. Vlog coming soon, I swear. Yeah, he's around the same height. Here he is to his other legendary counterpart, the SH Monster Arts Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla. By the way, I probably won't be getting the Godzilla X Kong SH Monster Arts version of this, but I will probably be getting the Evolved Godzilla. And if they reveal Beast Glove Kong, like this guy, then I will definitely get him too. But for now, this guy will have to work for my legendary, my Godzilla stand, so, yeah. Here he is next to the Mega Construx Evolved Godzilla. By the way, this guy was a pain in the ass to build, but, yeah, he's kind of weird. He can only look up. So, yeah, that's the best you're going to get for a size comparison from him. And finally, here he is next to the Halloween Ends NECA Michael Myers, one of my favorite horror figures that I own. And, yeah. So overall, what do I think of this set? I think it's a really, really good set, especially if you're trying to find a cheaper option compared to the SH Monster Arts line, which is only re-releasing this guy and Kong, and they are doing Scar King, which I might also take a look at if I can get him. And then they're also doing Evolved Goji. But, yeah, comment down below what is your favorite. And, thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. And the next time I will see you guys, it will either be for this guy or Help Wanted 2 Part 4. See you guys later.